I want to show you what happens if you use the wrong input form especially with the bank download. I'm going to bank transactions. This is the demo client or sample company, and I haven't modified it much, but we're going to use this Books by Betty, or Bessie rather. And here I've said that I want to put it to wedding planning by Whitney is the customer. I definitely want to use a customer here. Then I came over here and I said pest control services. And I'm using the deposit input form. I can also use the sales receipt, but I want to show you what happens when we use the deposit form. So I click on add, which records it. Then I'm going to go to my reports, and I've created a custom report here, sales by customer summary. And you can see there is no entry in the sales by customer for that transaction. And this is a problem. If you want to run a report and see how much, for example, how much donations you got from any particular individual, if you did it with a deposit, it's not going to show up in the customer module. So none of the customer reports will work. That means that if you had to determine how much somebody donated to you, for example, you'd have to go through and identify every transaction individually. Now let's go back to bank transactions, categorized. I'm going to undo this, come back here. Now I'm going to post it the proper way, which is to use a sales receipt. And if you use a sales receipt, you have to use a product or service. And as it happens, we have a pest control product or service. I have a different video on how to do products and services. At this point, I say add. It's been posted. I go back to my custom reports, sales by customer, and you can see now we start to see that it's picked up by this. This is very important if you do not want to have to go back through and identify all of the sales or donations for, in this case, wedding planning by Whitney. Makes your life a whole lot easier. Anyway, that's it. So my recommendation is that when you go to bank transactions, if you have a donation from somebody or any kind of income and you want to record it in the customer module, you have to use a customer transaction form. In this case, a sales receipt. It's the same as if you went up here and entered one manually, it would be under the customers. These are all customer forms and not under other. Bank deposit is what we used. So you'd come down here and create a sales receipt manually. That's the trick.